Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey guys, brand new podcast.
Hey, wait a minute. It's my podcast.
Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Enjoy. Thank you guys for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to see you.
I know.
It's been a long time.
Too long.
A long time.
How long? I saw you in my ornament exchange
Not this year, the year before.
year before. And then
4 years, probably.
it's been that long?
No, we went to one of his shows.
Yes.
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 2 years. We took the bus, remember?
Yes, I do. That's what I was like explaining to Kathy because she doesn't know you by name.
Okay.
I said, you know them. Amanda works at... She's a bartender. We went there and had stuff, and then she met us at the bus, and Jocelyn's the redhead. Oh, yeah, those were great girls. I said, yeah, they're great girls. We just never see each other.
Did we bring Ryan and Rich to that one too?
Yeah.
You did. You brought two. Yeah.
Two guys.
Two guys.
Not my husband, a different guy.
Yeah, no. How is Joe?
He's good.
He
Thank
is.
you. Yeah.
So
right now.
we met. Why don't you guys explain how we met?
We met taking tennis lessons.
We did.
We met. You.
Yes.
We'd
I
already
met
known each
the two of
other.
you. So how do you know each other?
We went to high school together.
Where'd you go to high school?
Billings, Montana.
Billings, Montana. How did you get out here?
It's a long story.
I want to hear the story. How did you get out here?
It was kind of embarrassing.
Why is it
No,
embarrassing?
well, it
did
is.
you
It's-
follow a boy?
No,
because
we
you
followed each other. We followed each
You
other.
followed each other.
Yeah.
That's not embarrassing.
So Amanda moved out of high school. She moved to Arizona. And I stayed in Montana for a year, and it was an awful year. And I was miserably depressed. And
Why?
It was my freshman year of college, and just, I don't know, there was a lot of drama and just wasn't happy, and I didn't know what to do. And so I just moved to Arizona because Amanda was there.
I
And
was
then
going to school at U of A in Tucson.
and then Amanda moved to Phoenix to follow a boy.
I did.
And then did you move to Phoenix?
And then I moved to Phoenix.
How funny. That's so funny.
You had a reason. I was still going to school. I transferred up to Arizona State, and she had graduated, and you got it.
I got a job in Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Which
I did.
So you sort of followed her, but
Well, I also had job offers in other places, including the town that I lived in. So I followed her to Phoenix. And then I moved here for a job a few years later.
okay. And then did you move?
I graduated and moved out here.
That's so awesome, though. So you were friends from high school,
And then we've also followed each other around Los Angeles.
right?
So we used to live in West Hollywood. And then I moved over here, and Amanda moved over here.
But I think everybody moves to the valley. That's
Eventually.
right?
That's true.
It's just a little cheaper, and
And it's a little calmer, right?
Yes.
In like every way. Like driving is calmer, parking is calmer.
by the way, do they enforce that 2-hour parking on your street? That's a new thing.
What's today? Today's Wednesday? No, they do it on Thursday, Friday.
I was
Not
like,
really.
What the heck? That's new. That wasn't there. The
No,
last
it's
time.
always been there since we lived here.
God.
I hate it. But they street cleaning on Thursday, Friday. That's really the only time they take it.
Okay.
And it's Wednesday, right?
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Same thing.
Tuesday, yeah.
Same thing. Same thing as not Thursday, Friday, right?
Yeah, we're good.
So that's really awesome that you had each other through, because I moved from Atlanta to New York by myself and didn't know anybody. And then I moved from New York to LA by myself and I knew like friends of friends, but I didn't have any like direct friends. It's really hard to do that. It must have been a lot easier.
It is hard to do that. And when I first moved here, I didn't know anyone. Mm-hmm. Is that true? Yeah, I didn't know anyone. And so there were a good 6 months there where I was just miserable. It took Amanda a few years to move out here after I moved here.
Okay.
And honestly, I really didn't settle in until she got here.
Oh, really?
That's probably true. Yeah. Yeah. She came and her sister came too.
Yeah, I remember your sister. How is your sister?
And our friend Jeff.
Oh, and Jeff. Oh, how's
Yeah.
Jeff?
Good. I mean, we don't see him as much. He still lives on the other side of the hill.
He's a daddy.
Yeah, I knew he was a daddy.
Kids are really. Cruz is so cute.
Oh, that's
So
good. Jeff I managed apartment buildings, and Jeff was one of my residents. And then coincidentally, I didn't know him through you. I knew him through that, and then figured out that you guys knew each other. It's crazy.
Small
So
world.
it's a very small world. So I had just had Georgia, and I was not feeling great about myself. And Bert was like, "Why don't you take some tennis lessons?" And I was like, "Okay." I've always kind of wanted to learn how to play tennis. So he signed me up for a like group tennis lesson.
Oh, I didn't know he signed you up.
He did it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
He was
so sweet.
he's always been really sweet like that. Like you need something going on. And I was like, I need to get out of the house that's had nothing to do with my kid on a regular basis. And I think it was like a Monday night or sometime.
It was a Monday night.
It was a Monday night.
And she
because-
was 6 months. Is that how old she was?
I think that's right. She was really little, and we knew he was always home on Monday night. So that's why I signed up for that class, because I knew for sure he'd be home. So I go to class. I don't know anybody. And the two of you and Julia are in class together.
Which is another friend from Arizona. She went to school with us too at U of A.
Okay, you met her in Arizona. She's not from Montana.
Right. No.
Okay. So the three of you were having so much fun. I was like, those three girls are really fun. They look like they're having so much fun.
We were. We were terrible at
not
tennis.
so good
God,
at
we were
tennis.
bad at
Not
tennis.
so good at tennis. No, I wasn't either. But
You were better than the rest of us. You
I
had
doubt
some
it.
skills, I think.
I don't think so. I thought you were better than the rest of us.
Our tennis. No.
Julia was the best.
Julia,
Yeah.
let's call Julia the best.
Julia
Our
was-
tennis instructor, do you guys remember he did not even tie his shoes because we were so bad?
Scott,
Remember that?
Yeah.
He had he didn't tie his shoes.
because he didn't have to move.
No.
He just let the balls go by because they were so bad. He didn't have to move. We have to pick up all the balls, and yeah. It was really fun. So
It was fun.
We transitioned then into like a private class with just the four of us. Right.
And a high school girl.
And a high school
I
girl.
think Julia moved and we
That's
ended
right.
up getting that high school girl.
That's right. I forgot about the
So
high
it's
school
the three of
girl.
us then and her.
And I
the high
don't think
school
we
girl.
changed our conversation based on the fact that we had a high school girl with us. I think we just kept doing our thing.
I don't think so. No, I don't think we did. I think we kept on going, and we played until I was 8 months pregnant with Isla. So we played together
right.
a long time. If Georgia was 6 months old, and they're 2 years apart, we played for like a year and a half or so,
Wow.
or more than that.
And I don't think I got any better.
No, and we're still terrible.
I never actually played a real game. I
Have
think
you
I
played since then?
I played a couple times right after that. Bert's parents gave us a membership to like a country club for 1 year to kind of when the kids were little, so we'd have a pool because we didn't have a pool in my apartment building. And I played, I think, 2 tennis matches where they pair you with someone at your skill level, and she fucking destroyed me. This woman killed me. I played twice, and I was like, yeah, I may need some more lessons. I think our tennis lessons were not about tennis.
No, they weren't. We would stand there and talk, and then occasionally we would have to go do something with the ball and be annoyed. We'd be like, be right back. Hold on.
Hold on. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
There is no level as bad as we were. There's really
no.
not. There's
It was pretty, what would you call it? Like lazy level? Gossip level?
yeah. It was gossip level.
It was gossip level.
yeah.
Catch up on each other's lives. Right? So what's going on with you?
Totally. So
It's
maybe
got,
we
like,
should start
guys.
doing that again.
I know.
So we can see
should.
each other.
We might actually improve if we did it long enough. If we had been doing lessons this entire time, we would be at beginner level now.
Let's see. Georgia's 14. So if we'd done that same exact type of lesson for 14 years, we probably would not have improved at all
That's true.
because
That's
we just
true.
talked. And then, let me hit the ball while I'm still talking behind my shoulder. So anyway, you will not believe what this guy said. Boom, 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 boom. Right?
So that's
crazy.
pretty much how it went. Yeah.
So how different is life for the three of us individually from then? Right?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because you already had kids then.
Yes. 1.5 and then 2.
Yeah.
Then I didn't go back to the lessons after Isla was born. It was too much. 2 kids is a
It is. It's a totally different story. Yeah.
totally different ball game. Your kids are adorable.
Thank you. So are yours.
They're so cute.
It's Kier's birthday. Yeah, he's 7.
Today's his birthday?
Today's his birthday. Yeah.
Aw, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
They
It's
look-
crazy that he's 7.
They look exactly alike to the point
do.
where I look on your Instagram and I don't know who's who.
Yeah.
I have to really focus and figure out, okay, it's smaller.
Their
That's
dad
definitely
sent me a
cute.
picture the other day of one of them, and it was a really close-up picture, and it took me a few minutes. I was like, I think that's my daughter, but I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe my son.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mine could not look less alike if we tried.
You're right. Yeah.
Even when they were babies.
Even when they were babies. They were totally different. Structure, everything. Body, they've nothing in common physically, except they both have fucked up teeth.
Mine do too. Mine have that big like gap.
Oh no, they have analgesia imperfecta. They
Oh,
have
that's
no-
right. They can't. They don't have.
no
they have
enamel.
No enamel. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing they share is a very expensive mouth.
Who'd they get that from? Their dad?
Yeah. All of Bert's teeth are bonded, and his mother and both his sisters, and I think like 4 of her 8 brothers have the same condition.
So do they have to get their teeth bonded already? How often?
Well, bonding usually lasts about 20 years unless
okay.
you break it or something. But Georgia's condition is worse. So she had to have 12 baby teeth capped. so that her jaw would grow properly, because the teeth would deteriorate to the point where her jaw wouldn't grow properly. And it still didn't really grow properly. She's still going to need a lot of like reconstructive stuff on her jaw. Isla had more enamel, but Isla had like an enormous overbite. She had what was called a medical overbite. So our health insurance paid for her orthodontics because her overbite was so severe.
Could she even eat? Or no?
She couldn't. No, she could. Like a hot dog would pull straight through. I mean, she had an open bite and an overbite, and all of that. It's the same condition, but it manifested different in both their mouths. Like Georgia just had almost no enamel, so her teeth were like almost like chalk. Where Isla had more enamel, but the structure of her mouth was just ridiculous. She had this enormous lisp with her tongue would just stay out of her mouth and stuff like this, and she couldn't form like sounds right in the beginning. Everything was she couldn't say R. She would use the letter L instead, or a Y was an L.
How old was she when that was corrected?
It started when she was about 7.
It started when she was 7.
Started correcting it.
Oh, you started correcting it. Okay.
Yes, she had to have certain teeth grow in before they could put appliances in place. Mm-hmm. She had this. It looked like medieval torture. She had this spiky cage that was on her lower palate that her tongue would hit it and it would hurt. So it would make her retrain her tongue to go under it, so that the tongue didn't come out of her mouth when she talked, because part of this condition is like a lack of musculature, and the musculature of your tongue is what determines how your jaw grows. So if you have a weak muscle in your mouth, then your jaw grows like wrong. So she had this. It was awful.
Oh my God.
Like it had 4 huge metal spikes that just sat. It was awful. And she had little cuts on her tongue for the first couple weeks until she got it trained. And she had to wear that thing for like 2 years to make sure her tongue didn't start falling out of her mouth again. This poor kid, she's dyslexic. She has sensory processing problems. She got this fucked up mouth.
I think they say, though, that like early failure is a key for later success and happiness and resilience.
Definitely resilience. She's really a happy kid. That's the thing. She really doesn't give a fuck about that shit.
That's great.
She really doesn't. She has that kind of...
Fuck it.
What is that? Oh, that's the garage door. I thought the ceiling was falling down.
Georgia was the one that fell and hit and knocked him out. And you guys saw Whitney Houston?
Yes, that's when we saw Whitney Houston. Yeah. She broke her jaw under her nose. She broke her jaw and broke her 4 front teeth inside her gum line.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Bert tells a big story about that when Whitney Houston came in and comforted me. He tells it that it was about him, but it was really about me, because when Georgia broke her jaw, we had to have these teeth surgically removed. She was 3, and the doctor couldn't find a vein to put her under. So they poked her in both arms and both legs, and they started poking her like in her feet or something. Oh, and Jesus. She was screaming. She was coming totally dismantled. And finally the doctor said, I don't think this is going to work. I think I'm going to have to give her gas, but that's actually really dangerous because of her weight and her age. It's really kind of pretty scary. So I need her to be as calm as possible. So I need one of you to stay in her face and keep her calm. And Bert was like, I'll do it. And I thought, may not be the best choice. Mr. Panic Attack Anxiety Disorder, but whatever. He did it and kept her really calm, and they got her under. And as soon as we went out, it was so terrible. And I hadn't cried since she broke her teeth, because I thought she takes her cues from me.
Right.
If I'm hysterical, she will be hysterical. If I'm like, it's okay, we're going to fix it, Dennis says it's fine, she'll be fine. So I had held it together for like 5 days. And as soon as we got out of that room and she was under, Bert went straight to the only bathroom in the place and fell apart. So I had to fall apart in the lobby. So I went to the lobby and just started sobbing. And Whitney Houston is sitting across from me watching me sob. And she's like trying to make like these like, it's okay faces at me. And I'm going, wait, I think that's Whitney Houston, but oh my God. But wait, I'm sitting across from Whitney Houston. And the whole time they were trying to put her under, we had the first appointment. But I guess Whitney had the next appointment, and people kept coming in going, she's wondering how much longer. And the doctor would say, this is just going to take a little bit longer. And then they interrupted us like 3 or 4 times saying, she's kind of getting anxious in the lobby. Yeah. Well, I didn't obviously know who they were talking about. And then I'm sitting there sobbing going, oh my God, we were cute. We kept Whitney Houston waiting. My daughter can't go under. This is terrible. And then, you know, the whole procedure with Georgia was like 10 minutes. They got all her teeth out in like 10 minutes. And they had this recovery room where there's a recliner in this one room. And they were like, you sit in the recliner. We're going to put her in your lap while she wakes up. And it was curtained off. And so Bert's standing over me and I'm holding Georgia, and the curtain opens and Whitney Houston walks in and like rubbing Georgia's hair. And she's such a pretty girl. She said, oh, you're such a good mama. You're such a good mama. She's going to be okay. They're going to take care of you. She's going to be okay. And I was like, thank you so much. Oh my God, thank you so much. And then the fucking asshole anesthesiologist comes around the corner. He goes, Whitney Houston, where's Kevin Costner? I was like, what a fucking douchebag. Oh my God. What a douchebag. No wonder she's so fucked up. That's what she gets?
Wow.
I couldn't believe he said that. What a turd.
Yeah. Just an idiot.
What a turd. So that was our Whitney. That was the real Whitney Houston story. I think
Bert's story is that she comforted him.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course. That he's the one that she talked to in the lobby. He's the one that she was, you know, comforting. He was in the bathroom the whole time, completely sobbing. I'm sure snot running. He was a disaster. Well, he was on the Jameson tour when she broke her teeth, and I called him and was like, "I need to tell you something. I need you to know that it's okay." He was hysterical. I don't know where he was, but he was hysterical when I told him that she had broken her teeth. And he called me, like Psycho called me, constantly, just sobbing. I would answer the phone and he'd go, I was like, oh my God, I'm dealing with a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old by myself here. Oh,
and then you're also dealing with him.
And also he was worse than either of them, right? So he calls me when he lands, and the first literally calls me, and I went, let me tell you something, buddy. You cry that whole drive home, but when you walk in this front door, you better have your shit together. You are her daddy, and you had better be fine, because she is fine. And if she sees you crying, she's not going to be fine. So you get it out, but when you walk in this door, you better be a man. And he did.
And he did.
He walked in the door and he was totally fine until they put her under, and it was a disaster. And then he went and cried.
That is terrifying. It is terrifying to have your
awful.
kids under. And
it was awful, especially when he said, this is really dangerous.
Oh, God.
You're like, well, then should we do it? You know?
Right.
Maybe we'll
Is it
wait.
worth it?
My child died during oral surgery. How pathetic is that?
Teeth reconstructed.
Right? Anyway,
Oh, wow.
that was the story. He was a mess.
Do you get upset about the teeth, just the teeth? Is that something that would have upset you normally, or do you just handle it?
I just handle everything.
Yeah, I do too.
You know, I think part of it is growing up the way we grew up. I mean, I don't know if you guys had any kind of farm related experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think there's a piece of you that, I don't want to say disconnects, but you don't emotionally react to stuff like that.
Yeah. My kids have to have severe injuries before I really even show any empathy. And sometimes I have to remember, this sounds so awful, but this person is in pain, because I'm like, well, it's not broken. There's no
They used
bone
to tell us to just shake
poking
it off.
through.
Shake it off. You're fine.
Yeah.
And even if it is broken, that's not that big of a deal. We can fix that.
Right. It's not a compound fracture. You don't have a bone sticking out of your arm. I'm
But
similar.
even that you can fix.
Even that you can fix. But that I would justify the pain. Like if you're
Yes,
screaming and a
yes.
bone sticking out of your skin, got it. That looks pretty bad. But I'm a little bit that way too.
My kids are not going to remember me as a nurturing mom. They're not going to have memories of like, when I was sick, my mom would come rub my back. I don't do any of that.
Do you actually say the words, do you want me to give you something to cry about?
No,
That's what my dad used to say.
Yeah, I got that too. From
I'm
my
like,
mom.
no, I don't. I'm already crying.
Yeah. My dad would get so freaked out when I got sick, he would literally just leave me. And he'd stick his head in and go, you okay? Okay, good. Clink.
that's about what I do. Yeah.
That's not, well, I'm a little more nurturing than that. I definitely take care of them when they're sick. We've had the flu a lot in this house. And the flu I've had the flu. The flu sucks. It's terrible. You feel like you can't do anything. And
Yeah.
I understand when they've all had, Isla's had the flu 3 times in her life. And when she gets the flu, I'm like, all right, you're locked down. I'm doing everything because I
Right.
know how you feel. This feels terrible. But the biggest struggle I have with my kids is that Bert is overly sympathetic. Oh, you don't feel good? Just don't go to school. And I'm like, that's actually not how it works. You have a fever, you don't go to school. You're throwing up, you have diarrhea, don't go to school. Other than that, you pretty much go to school.
Yeah.
Unless the nurse sends you home from school, then okay. But you're going to go to school and have the nurse send you home. I'm not letting you stay home. That's not how his brain works. Not at all.
Well, and I was raised that way too. I remember my dad saying that if you're sick, the best thing to do is to go exercise. And so my kid's dad will keep them home or, say, oh, they can't swim, they can't do any of these things because they're sick. And I'm like, oh no, this is when they're supposed to go do it because their bodies get stronger. There's probably no scientific evidence whatsoever that they should be doing that. But that's the way I operate.
Yeah, that's your theory.
Yeah.
Well, I don't disagree with that theory at all. But I have a partner that I actually live with that I have a problem with. Well, I went to Vietnam last fall. Both kids missed 2 days of school of the 10 I was out, 2 different days, because I'll be damned if my sister stays out and I don't get to stay. I have such a headache. Okay, then don't go to school.
Oh, they're working the system.
Oh, right.
They totally worked it to the point where Bert's sister was like, I think that they're snockering their dad. And I'm like, no shit. But what can I do? I'm in freaking Vietnam.
Right.
I can't regulate justice from halfway around the world. He won't listen to me. And they're not going to listen to me. Yeah. Mom's right.
We really should go to school today.
I lived with a single dad for a while, and the biggest, and I worked it. I would just have to say, I'm having my period. I can't go to school. And he didn't, he was like, okay, I guess you can't go to school.
Did you have your period every week?
Not every week, but enough that, which is so ridiculous that I would, but he didn't know, and he felt like he couldn't question me about it.
Right.
He was like, okay, you're in pain. You can
I gotcha. You get a pass.
And all my friends are like, what? Yes, I have to go to school.
Oh, that's so funny. I wanted to go to school as a kid. I didn't want to be in my house.
My kids want to go to school too.
My kids don't want to go to school.
My kids sometimes wake up and they're obviously tired and just awful that day. And I make them stay home from school and they think it's a punishment. Like I'll say, you're too tired. You can't be there like this.
How funny.
And they sob so hard. It's like I'm the meanest person in the world for making them stay home.
It's reverse psychology. So can we talk about what you do for a living?
Sure.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a ghostwriter.
I know what you do, but it fascinates me.
I'm a ghostwriter. I write business books for business people who don't have the time or the expertise to write a book on their own. And then sometimes I do memoirs, or I just did a really great self-help book about resilience that I loved. It was probably my favorite project that I ever worked on.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so fascinating to me. I've always wanted to ask you about it.
Ask away. Yeah, it's really fun. I mean, I have then all of these really weird pockets of knowledge. I'm overall very uneducated, but then I'll know like a boatload of things about, whatever I've written books about. So I know a ton about credit repair, for instance.
How funny.
Yeah.
About credit repair.
About credit repair. The first book I wrote was about credit repair. Yeah.
Okay. So then will you come back and do a podcast with my financial guy about credit?
Yes, I will.
That'd be awesome. Because we were talking, we just did this big financial podcast with Bert's business manager. And as soon as it was over, he was like, we didn't even talk about credit, like how to build credit, how to repair credit.
Well, and that's an interesting one with kids too, because especially you have older kids, you can start building their credit right now.
Yes.
Which is not something that I had. And I think my life would have been very different if I had, graduated from high school with a really high credit score. And
right. That's a good point. I have a checking account and a savings account for Georgia, but I don't have a credit card.
Yeah.
So maybe you should
get her.
That.
Here's what you should do. You should put her as I'm just going to go on the record. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a ghostwriter. And I wrote a book about this 15 years ago. But you should get her as an authorized user on one of your credit cards that you pay regularly. You have to pay it. And then she benefits from your good credit.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay, I'll call my business manager. And
don't tell her. You don't need to tell her or give her access to it or anything.
Right.
But her credit score will just build automatically.
That's great. Good to know.
Yeah, because I don't think I had any credit at all.
No. I didn't either. No.
In college.
No.
I mean, I have, because of that information, I'll be able to parent my kids in a way about money that I never got. Because there are all sorts of things that I even now today don't do that I should be doing.
We'll come back and talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that subject because he was really excited. He was like, that was a big one. We really should, because kids these days, don't know about credit.
No.
They don't. Halston
grown-ups
was talking
don't
about
know.
it. No.
Yeah.
No, they don't. So, so how did you become a ghostwriter? What led you to that path?
Well, I was a reporter out
You
of
were?
college. I was a reporter. Yeah, I covered the Arizona State Senate in Phoenix.
No way.
Yeah. I
didn't
did.
know
And
that.
so, and then I moved out here for another unrelated job, but I was always doing some sort of writing on the side. And I met a guy who was hiring me to write various things from just his emails. You know, he was pretty illiterate person as a kid, and then was a very successful business person, and knew that this was not his strength. So I was writing, you know, all of his emails, anything important for him.
Right.
And he's the one he was a mortgage broker.
Okay.
And he said, I want a way for my clients with low credit scores to rebuild their credit, refinance their loan. Can you write a book for me? So I just kind of fell in my lap. And
How about that?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's great. Yeah. And then he introduced me to a ton of people. He was in all sorts of networking groups, and I met all sorts of entrepreneurs who needed similar products. A lot of them they'll do seminars, or they just need a leave behind when they visit with potential clients.
Right.
Do
That's
you
so
do
cool.
mainly books or do you do websites?
Books mainly. Sometimes I'll do marketing material for people just because I get so familiar with their business, but primarily books.
Books.
That's so cool. I've always been curious about that. As you know, Bert was hiring this ghostwriter.
Yep.
But he wrote his first book himself entirely, except I kind of edited it.
Right,
But
yep.
he vomited it out, and then it was such a hard job for him, you know.
It is. I mean, there's a psychological component of it. And then I've worked with, it's funny, the more well-known a person is, the more intimidating it is to put something on paper. And so my clients who just aren't known at all, but they want a book for, you know, their 30-person seminar, those guys can get things down.
Right.
But people who have already reached a huge level of success are like, well, I have to be really careful about what's on paper.
Right.
And so it becomes significantly harder.
Right. More tedious, I would imagine. What's your favorite part of the process?
Well, I mean, getting the book is always good. That's always good to have.
Like the finished product?
But yes, the finished
Yeah.
product. I think, honestly, most of my personal growth has come from my clients. And so now I'm pretty fortunate where I work with people that I really admire. And I always, I'll learn some new thing about business that I didn't know before I went into it. And I don't know, I love that. I love that I have CEOs of major corporations who are writing a book about what the most important thing to them is. And so it's interesting to see all of these pockets of, you know, all these theories about leadership.
Right.
I love it.
That's really great. That's really great.
And I think it's helped me even parent my kids. I know I sounded like a horrible person earlier.
No, you did not.
But I feel like a lot of it has helped me parent them, especially the book that I did on resilience.
Yeah.
But then I wrote another book on preparing your kids for a collegiate athletic scholarship. You maybe helped me with that one a little bit. Yeah, thank you. And that one was...
for a while.
You did?
Yeah, she did, yeah.
What do you mean? What'd you do?
She
Edited
edited
mainly?
things and just, you know.
Kind of the same thing you did.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Our home office. We screwed around a lot too.
I believe there was an earthquake once and we stood in a doorway together.
And grinned at
And
each other.
giggled.
So how many books have you written?
I don't know. I mean, I've been doing it since 2000, probably 1999, maybe around there. So I don't know. I mean,
That's 20 years.
80, you know?
80 books.
Yeah.
Wowza. That's great. I really admire that. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. You came here to be an actress. Mm-hmm. Are you still acting?
No, I haven't done anything for a long time.
For a long time.
Kind of fell out of love with it.
You did? Mm-hmm. I did too.
You did?
Sort of, yeah. Because, you know, I studied acting in New York and I moved here to be an actress.
I didn't know
I studied Meisner in New York for 4 years. And then I moved here to be an actress. And I was like, I don't think I have the self-promoter part of acting.
I can't sell myself.
I couldn't sell myself. I'd go no, you'd be better for that role. you'd be great at that role. So I found myself.
I'm wrong for this role.
Well, not that I was wrong, just that you'd definitely be better. You'd be better too. Everybody be better than me. So I just didn't have that. I have that I want everybody to win thing. And so if everybody wins, then not everybody wins. You know what I mean? I just didn't have that bone. So when I was working here as an actress, I worked for 2 people on all their projects, and I never auditioned because they would just call and go, hey, I have this role of a nurse. She's in Tennessee. Got it. I can do that. But at a certain point, I was like, I don't think I was meant to do that. I think I was right. Then I moved to writing.
Right, yeah.
That's when I started writing screenplays because I liked that better. That was more in alignment with who I was. So I know what you mean. I don't know that I just fell out of love with it. I just figured out that wasn't really my path.
I mean, I love to act. I love to be on stage. I hate the process.
You do?
I'm like, well, I don't want to stand in a room and have you assess me and tell me
Right.
whether I'm like, yeah, I might be good for it. I might not be good for it.
Right.
You have your opinion. I have my opinion.
Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the drive. Like I have friends that are still in their 40s. They audition all the time.
Yeah.
And they're still plugging away. And I hope it turns out okay for them.
Yeah. It's a hard path, man, because it's really hard. Another thing I had a problem with in New York, I got tired of not getting roles, so I just started writing roles for myself. So I wrote part of a 1 act a couple times and put that up and helped produce it and put it up and then made a role for myself. And I just couldn't find that community here. You know, it's everywhere in New York. Everybody wants to write something and put it up. And I couldn't really find that community here. This is more film focused than theater. So I just never found my footing except for these 2 people. And then one of them's a really pretty big director now. And she and I were really good friends, but we just kind of, I got married. She got really into her career and we just kind of separated amicably, but I worked for her a lot.
I do have some friends now that are going that route, not with theater, but with they're putting on shorts and they're like trying to get them in because it's the same thing. They're like, I'm just tired of not getting any roles, so I'm gonna have to do my own thing.
It's more possible now because of the internet, because of digital media. It's really possible. Back when I was doing that, 20 years ago, you'd have to hire a camera guy with a big camera and a videotape, and then there's no way to edit it unless you know Avid, and it was just impossible.
Right.
Where now you can edit it, like on iMovie and put it up yourself if you wanted. You could do it all on your phone if you wanted.
Yeah.
That didn't exist when I came here in 97. When I had a beeper.
You came here in 97.
Came here in 97. I moved to New York in 93. I came here in 97. I'm older than you guys.
When was Georgia born?
She was born in 2004.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a little older than you guys.
And
I don't think so.
and Isla 2006.
That's right. Yeah. That get her snag. Ugh. She's a handful. So what are you doing now?
We're done with the house, so now we're just tweaking it, which takes a lot of time.
But I thought I saw a picture. Did I see a picture of you and Joe and an older man starting a construction company? Did I see that?
Oh God, I hope this is true.
No, that's my father-in-law.
You should do that though.
Well, wait, didn't I see a picture?
Yes, we got
Okay.
T-shirts made
Okay.
with the name, with Tremba Construction, but we're not. We're the worst construction company in the whole world. So it's the 3 of us. So yes, we built the back house,
Yeah.
but we haven't thought about starting a construction company. I mean, if we did, it would be Joe and I. My father-in-law is 75. He just doesn't have any desire. He helped us a tremendous amount, but he doesn't want to. He's been retired for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think this project just about killed him.
It did?
We had many moments. I was like, you need to go inside and sit down because it's too hot for you to be
Right.
physically doing what we're doing
Right.
in this heat.
What were
especially.
you doing? You built a whole back house?
Well, we tore down our garage and made it into a livable unit. But last summer, I was just thinking about it. Last summer just about killed us because we had to trench the gas line, the sewer line,
And you did that by yourself?
and the water lines.
Yeah, Amanda and her husband and her father-in-law did this. Is this podcast, people can see her? Because she's tiny. Amanda's tiny.
Yes, she's tiny.
She's a badass.
Yeah, you're a
Yeah, we did
badass.
it. But it just about especially it was in August and it was 90 something degrees and we would start really early in the morning, but then sure enough, it would get so hot so fast.
By 10.
Oh yeah.
By 10 it's undoable, right?
And we'd be out there with the trencher and then we hit pockets in our backyard where there was old foundation underneath.
Oh God.
So twice we had to go to Home Depot and rent a jackhammer.
Shut up.
To jackhammer out these big, and we didn't know what it was. We're like, what is this big thing of cement doing underneath, 2 feet down?
God.
Who knows? Like, who knows what was in your backyard at one point?
Yeah.
We discovered a lot of things.
Yeah. We discovered a lot when we dug the pool.
I feel like you should tell her the story about what you discovered in the walls.
What did you discover in your walls? Asbestos.
Okay, so the reason that we did this... No,
Was it a ghost?
Oh, it's so much better
it a
than
treasure?
this. It's so
No.
much better than this.
The reason that we had to... So when we moved in, the garage was already... It wasn't a garage.
Okay.
But it wasn't what we wanted. It was kind of ugly. There was like that, the ceiling at your dentist's office that are like the squares.
Yeah.
It was like that. We're like, we're going to tear that down. We're going to rip up this carpet because we don't want carpet in there. We're going to open up and put French doors in the wall so we can go out to the swimming pool because it's right next to the swimming pool.
Right. So this is your back house.
Yes.
So was it a garage?
It was a
Okay,
garage
it
at one point,
was.
but never
And
when
then-
we bought the house. We bought the
Right.
house 2 years ago.
Right. Someone had converted it into a, quote, livable space.
But it was an office. It was definitely an office. But they had
okay.
added a bedroom and a closet off the back. But there was no running water. There was electricity, and there was a lot of internet connections. A lot. We're like, so they must have been doing something in here, like a back office, basically.
No windows.
No windows.
So they were shooting porn.
They were.
They were?
We
Oh my God, they were?
so we were there for
shit.
about a month and a half, and an inspector came knocking and basically said, this is an illegal garage conversion. You have to turn it back into a garage. And we're like, but we didn't do it. And he said, it doesn't matter. It is on my desk. In order for it to go away, you need to open it up so you can drive a car in. But at this point, there's no driveway.
Right.
We had put grass. We had planted grass.
Right.
And you need to knock down the ceiling and you need to pull up the floor because they had leveled the floor. So it was a raised floor. We're like, okay. And he goes, just get it off my desk. He goes, I don't even care if you drive a car in here. I don't care if you use it for a garage, but you need to do these things.
Right.
So we decided then, we're like, well, we don't want to use it as a garage. We're going to go to the city and get a permit and turn it into an ADU, which is the new
Yeah.
thing that you can like make it a livable, but you have to add a bathroom
Right.
and you have to add some sort of a kitchen.
Right.
We're like, all right, we're going to do it. So his dad started to help us. And then so we started knocking down walls.
Oh my God.
We found a time capsule in the back.
You
We
did?
found a time capsule with a poster of a girl named Mia
Uh-huh.
that used to live there. And it basically says something along the lines of, this was my girlfriend and I was her photographer. She lived here for two years with me, da-da-da. She's a goddess. And then we found a video of her swimming naked in the swimming pool. And then when the inspector came back to sign off on just what we had done, he told us, he was like, oh yeah, when I came and gave them a ticket, there were a bunch of girls milling around and racks of costumes. So they for sure were filming porn in our back.
My God.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
which is just
crazy.
funny. And then since then we have, we put in a big screen inside the house and we had to go into the wall. We pulled out another small poster, like a little tiny poster of Mia. So she's all over in our walls.
Oh
We
my
just
God.
Hope she's
Have
not
you
actually
looked her
in
up?
our walls.
Is that right? In pieces. That's crazy.
Wow. Have you looked her up? Do you know
No.
what she's up to?
Because I don't know what her last name is. It's just as Mia, and it's just this picture of her naked.
But-
But it's old, like the hair and even the
Old like how old? Like 70s, 80s, 90s?
Like the boobs are different. You know how people's boobs change
Yeah.
throughout the. They
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
fake. I would maybe say 60s or 70s.
How crazy.
Really? Wow. So they've been filming porn there for a while.
I have. And who knows how many times. Well, for sure, the guy that we bought the house from, a flipper, he changed it. He put new carpet in, and he put like a new. So he did some things too.
Yeah.
So who knows how long this has been buried in there.
Oh my God. That's so crazy.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
That's awesome.
My little back house
fantastic.
could talk.
We found one thing here that was really cool. I think it's right up there. It says like NBC News press car. The person who lived here, I guess, worked for NBC News. And
Did you find it in the walls or in the ground?
we found it in the garage. Like this garage was like a workshop before it was a man cave, and there was just shit everywhere. And you would have thought they would have kind of cleaned it out. They did sort of. But
they
there
left
was
stuff.
like cabinets and stuff, and I found it in one of the cabinets. And then I asked the neighbor, and he was like, "Oh yeah, he did work for the news. He was a gay guy, worked for the news, but he wasn't out."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh, okay. How do you know he was gay then? If he wasn't out, it was even that light in the loafer. I mean, what? How do you know that?" But okay, whatever. That's the one thing with no time capsule, no naked people.
My dad has a
So
time
funny.
capsule in his house that I've been dropping things into for years, and I don't even remember what's in there.
We have one in the front yard.
You do?
We have one in the front yard here that we did right when we moved in, and we buried it under the rose bushes.
My dad's is a mail slot that goes in between two walls. He built an addition, and then he put a mail slot in for people to drop things into.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so cool. How is your dad?
He's good.
He's good.
He's good, yeah. Crazy still. But good.
Aren't they all? All those people live in Montana and Georgia.
I know.
Love them to pieces. But
They're set in their ways.
It's a different life. I
is.
mean, it really is.
it is very different. I talked about that a lot on this podcast because I absolutely love my family. I love everything about them. I love that they have a gun on their belt. I love that they don't wear shirts. I love that they eat, pork or beef every single. I love every piece of them. I love even, and this is a hard one to swallow, I love even in some ways that they, just not love Trump, but they love their beliefs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do get what you mean. My family are not Trump supporters, but they certainly believe things that I don't agree with, but that are part of that culture.
Yeah.
And it's hard to separate.
It is hard to separate.
You're just emotions from childhood and
Yep.
your family.
Tradition.
Yeah, it's hard to
Yep.
separate. And, I'm reading this book called Hillbilly Elegy. And that has been really eye-opening. 'Cause I knew I was Appalachian, but I didn't really know that Appalachian culture was so specific. Like, I thought it was more just like how my family worked. But when this guy is describing the culture of Appalachian people, I go, oh my God, did you just sit and watch my family for a year?
right.
Because it's exactly how their beliefs are formed, what they believe about other people, about money, about life, about how you treat people is all in this book, which is really kind of cool. And it is hard to separate some of the things that people who support Trump do align with some of the things that they believe, whether or not my family supports Trump. I don't even know if they do or not. I know a lot of my family voted against Hillary. They didn't want Trump. They just voted against Hillary. And, I've had several people out here saying, I don't even know how you're in the room with them. How do you even believe like that? That's my family.
Right. No, I also find that even the people whose politics I generally align with regularly, almost always have some beliefs that I find horribly offensive on some level. And so I don't know. I don't think that I can live my life constantly separating myself from people who have certain opinions that I disagree with. There are some that
sure.
For sure I would say that's just not worth touching.
Right.
But having voted for Trump I did not vote for Trump. Let me just say that. But if someone did vote for Trump, that alone is not enough for me.
Oh, no,
That's
me
not
neither.
enough
No.
at all.
No, it's not for me either. And what you're saying is you don't have to be, or I think what you're saying is you don't have to be in complete alignment with someone to have a relationship with them, because you don't.
Right.
No.
I'm
Right.
not in alignment with a lot of stuff that my dad believes, but his beliefs are fully allowed and okay and healthy for him.
Well, and I also find that my beliefs have changed over time pretty drastically in a lot of ways. They've changed over time. And so it seems really ignorant of me to think what I believe right now is the only thing that I'm ever going to believe, and that what other people believe, that I can't learn anything from what they believe.
Right.
And I mean, once again, there are certain issues where I'm just not going to associate with someone who's racist, period.
Right.
End of story.
Right.
But there are other things that I think we've become so, there's certain subjects that people can't even discuss, like gun ownership. Some people can't even discuss that. And there's
Right.
a lot to learn about that issue, I think.
There is a lot to learn. That's a hot button issue for me.
Yeah.
That when what's his name? Michael Doodad, the Columbine, Bowling for Columbine came out. I left that movie really upset.
Yeah.
Because I felt like there was a whole portion of the culture that I grew up in that was not in that movie.
Yep.
That was not represented. We had cattle, we had coyotes. Everybody knew how to use a gun. Now, not everybody has a farm, and not everybody has, livestock they have to protect. So not everybody needs to know how to use a gun. But where I didn't find that in there. Like,
Right.
I got a gun when I was 8 because everybody knows how to use a gun, because we have coyotes, we have poisonous snakes, we have all kinds of stuff that we shoot a gun at. It's not a person.
You have animals that sometimes you have to put down. I mean, I think
Yes.
about that with my mom and stepdad had a really horrible accident with a horse, and there was, what are they going to do? They live out in the middle of nowhere. They had to put
Exactly.
the horse down, which is heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking for them, but it was the most compassionate thing to do.
Yes, it's really humane to do that. And what are you going to wait 45 minutes for the vet to get there?
And it would have been days.
No.
It would have been days.
It's the same. And same even with law enforcement, where we grew up. There's no, if somebody was breaking in your house, which didn't really happen because you're pretty rural, but if something like that happened, you're like 25 minutes on your own before anybody gets there. So what are you going to do? That's why all these signs, protected by Smith & Wesson, is because that's what you did, because you thought, well, it's going to take the police 25 minutes to get here. I'm seriously on my own. But a film like that film, I just didn't feel like that was represented. And maybe it didn't need to be. But it was a culture that I grew up in where I went, well, I'm not in that film anywhere.
It should certainly be something that people can talk about without getting angry with one another. I mean,
Yes.
I don't entirely know where I stand on this issue, but I don't think that it's helpful to paint all gun owners as undignified kind of racist savages, which
Right.
is
I don't
what
think so
seems to
either.
be.
I don't know why anybody would need to own an automatic or semi-automatic weapon. There's no need for that, I don't think.
I don't think so, but I'm
I
willing
don't
to
think
talk
there is.
about it.
Yeah. I think for a collector, my dad's like, what about those collectors out there? And I'm like, well, then they can just collect something else. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the automatic, semi-automatic, but pistols and rifles and shotguns.
And I don't think it's so black and white. My dad is extremely liberal. He's a Democrat 100%. He's a school teacher. But Second Amendment, he very much, because he has his master's in history. He's like, it's about us defending ourselves from the government. He goes, go back and read. Historically,
Interesting.
we all need guns. And I was like, whoa. And this is a man.
That's surprising that
he
he
was
thinks
so
that. Wow.
liberal, but he's like, no, absolutely. We should all be able to have our own guns. And because he's a historian.
Wow.
You know, I don't feel comfortable around guns, even though I grew up in a gun culture. They make me very nervous. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know where I stand. But that is I think that's an interesting issue. And I think right now, when I think about what's going on, ultimately, the people who really want guns gone, what they're saying is that Donald Trump is going to regulate them and the government. And that makes me super nervous.
Yeah, that is nervous.
I've
had a gun, like I said, since I was 8. And I've had a 38 since I was my 21st birthday. I got a 38. And that's the last gun that I got. But recently, Bert wanted to buy a shotgun and a pistol, like a 9mm, because he was like, if there's an apocalypse, if there's a terrible earthquake, and we're out of food and water, and we have food and water, I'm protecting that food and water.
Yeah.
And how are you going to do that?
Yep.
I was like, you give the gun to me because you're scared to shoot it. That's how you do that. I shoot the gun. He was like, well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, that's what I
He's
mean.
like, we still need one, though.
I was like, so make sure you get a 20 gauge shotgun or something I can actually shoot, because the 12 gauge will knock me out. And he's like, no, I'm definitely getting the chink chink kind.
I'm coming over here.
I'm like, dude, if you're calling it the chink chink kind, you're already in trouble. It's not the chink chink. I want the chink chink kind. It's like, dude, I can't shoot the chink chink kind. I don't like that. They're too strong
fantastic.
for me. And you're going to give it to me. Anytime there's a noise in the house, he always goes, go see what that was. And I'm like, but you're 240 pounds. Come on, you go see what that was. No, you go see. So that's really why he bought those. He was like, if something happens, we would have to protect our homestead. That's the one thing we've been wanting, to put a fence in the front yard. Not that a fence would really stop anybody from getting in.
A little bit it might.
But it would slow them down enough that I could hit them with a gun. That's his theory. If they got to get over the fence, that means they have to be still for that long, and then you can shoot them. But if they're running, they could zigzag. He has all these. He also wanted to buy a motorcycle so we could get out of here. And I'm like, how are you putting 4 people on a motorcycle?
He's just saving himself. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
To save himself.
I was like, 2 people maximum on a motorcycle. Who stays behind? Me and Isla?
Just both the kids. You leave the kids.
Right, I guess so.
The kids.
They're They're good meat. He used to say our kids are good for two things in an apocalypse: target practice and meat for stew. They're useless.
Our kids are so useless. They are so useless.
Our kids are kind of useless a little bit. They skateboard pretty good.
Oh, that's good.
So I guess
My
we could
kids
ride
are
on a
funny.
motorcycle.
I think my kids are really funny, but man, they're embarrassing.
They're interesting to have kids. It is really kind of interesting. Now, that shift that happens when they go to high school where they're embarrassed of you, I really, really didn't think that would happen, because I think I am really cool and funny and fun and chill and whatever. And this is the house everybody wants to hang out at. I was incorrect. That has shifted, and I am pretty embarrassing to my oldest daughter, and I'm not really sure how to process it.
Do you respect that and try to?
I try to, and then sometimes, like, she had a softball tournament in San Diego, and she wanted me to go, but she didn't want me to go, but she wanted me to go. I think she wanted me to go because she had never done anything like this before, and she was feeling nervous and uncomfortable, and I was fine with letting her go. But part of me was like, these players' parents all know each other. They all live in the same city around her school. We're 30 minutes away. It was probably a good idea for me to go just to get to know the adults in the group.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, I'll go. She wanted nothing to do with me the whole weekend, which was sincerely fine. But if she saw me cracking a joke with an adult, she was like, "Oh my God."
Oh, so you can't even talk to people.
Talking like that. Like I should just be seen and not heard.
I felt that way about my mom growing up.
You did?
I did. And my mom is fantastic. She's amazing. But I remember sometimes she would come to our school, to our high school, and she worked for the wastewater treatment plant, basically the sewer. And so that was more tough. She was a chemist. I mean, my mom's a chemist.
Right.
But I would be so embarrassed. And she would be there talking to the science teachers for some reason. Maybe this was junior high. I don't remember why, but I would see her and just want to die.
Isn't that funny? So I think I'm pretty freaking rad.
You are. You're a fun mom.
I'm really fun. And I'm like, how can you not be just like blown away by me? Still, I don't understand. She had this father-daughter dance. Okay, this is where I really screwed the pooch. This father-daughter dance, the invitation said, costume contest, 80s themed. So I was like, all right, I got this fucking down.
This, yeah.
80s was my era, right? So let me show you some options. Here's the Madonna. Here's the Cyndi Lauper. Here's the tracksuit Reebok. Here's the, I just laid all these out. And she was like, okay, I'm comfortable with the tracksuit Reebok. So I get her the old school, high top Reebok with the Velcro strap, the white ones. And I get her the multicolored pastel, shiny tracksuit, and I get Bert the exact same matching outfit. Right? And I'm like, this is going to be fucking amazing. You're totally going to win this contest. I'm so excited. She got it on, and I was like, let me help you with your makeup, because I so know 80s makeup. I can't do much with the hair because you have my hair, and we just sucked great in the 80s. Yep. There's nothing you can do. I was like, side pony. Side pony is about as close as you can get to 80s. And so I did her makeup, and she had a panic attack. Like a full-blown, I'm not leaving the house. I can't do this panic attack. And I was like, sure you can. Sure you can. You're going to win. You look amazing. You're going to win this contest. She wiped a lot of her makeup off, which was fine. I was like, you don't have to wear the makeup. You don't have to wear any of it. Yeah. But it is a costume contest, and you don't want to show up not in costume. It says costume contest on the thing. So she and Bert go. Bert totally rocks it. He's got a visor on and a fanny pack. So he added his two, his flair was the fanny pack and a visor, and they look so 80s. And she's just not into it. She's not having it. And they get to school, and she won't get out of the car because everybody's going in with high top Converse tennis shoes and an AC/DC t-shirt. They look like kids today.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, fuck. I was trying to be helpful. So he finally talked her into going to the party. They have prom picture type pictures with their dad, which she takes, and she looks mortified. They go in. Everybody's dressed pretty much in the AC/DC type t-shirt and high top tennis shoes. And they leave in 15 minutes because she can't do it. She doesn't dance. She doesn't want to enter the contest party. She doesn't want a part of it. People are losing their mind going, oh my God, you look amazing. You look so great. And she's like, no can do. and they come home. And I'm so bummed. But I felt like I really screwed up. Like I didn't read her personality to know that she's not me and Bert, who are like, fuck yeah.
Right.
Head to toe, man. Head to
Yeah.
toe. And in high school, I would have been head to toe. But that's not who she is. And I think that started my mom really fucking is not cool for this year. And that was like in the fall. So I think we've kind of just like gone like, I don't get it.
Well, it'll come back around. And it's good that you're aware that, I mean, you messed up, but
I did mess up. I had the best intentions though.
I know.
Yeah.
It was the best costume.
I mean, I really struggle with the balance between wanting to respect it, but some of the time it's ridiculous, you know?
Yes.
And then also just, I want to be who I am, and I want my kids to have character and strength and not feel mortified by my behavior.
Not care whatever.
Not be connected to it.
Yeah.
My daughter got me really good though.
She did.
She did. I was so proud of her. So she hates it, but
now how old is she?
anytime- She's 9. She's 9. And I didn't know this, but I mean, they start going through hormonal changes at like 8. And
Yes,
so
they do.
it's been rough. It's been rough.
do.
But when I drop her off at school, I always scream at the top of my lungs, I love you, Junie, as loud as I can. And it mortifies her, but she gets this little smile on her face and she says she doesn't want me to do it, but I see her smile a little bit. So I keep doing it. I went to her school and she was, she was having basketball practice and I was wearing a white t-shirt and a black bra underneath it. I was covered. It was mostly appropriate.
Yeah.
But you could see my bra. And she was playing basketball and I screamed across the court, your mommy loves you, Junie Matzdorf. And she turned around and without missing a beat screamed back, your shirt is see-through, Mom.
Oh my God. That's hysterical.
Every single parent there turned and looked at me.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's really
And I
funny.
felt in that moment, I felt like I had, helped her build her sense of humor.
Yeah,
was good.
that's
It was
true.
good timing. It was
That's
a
true.
good burn. I was really proud of her.
That's really
I was
something to be
embarrassed,
proud
but I
of.
was proud of her.
Like, way to go, Judy.
There was a dad standing right next to me and he said, I have to make sure that I'm looking you right in the eyes right now. I mean, his face was around. I said, no, my shirt is definitely see-through.
For sure.
Totally, yeah.
That's really funny. Bert does that same thing to our kids too. I love
Still?
you, Georgia.
Does he still do
No,
it?
because Georgia said, that really does embarrass me. So you can't do this at this new school. So he doesn't do it at high school.
Does he still do it to Isla?
Yes,
Good.
he does.
Yeah.
And she doesn't care.
Is Georgia freshman?
Yeah, she's a freshman. And that's what Bert said to me. He was like, if we had shown up in that costume as a junior, she would have been okay. Yeah. But because she's a freshman and she doesn't really know anybody, it was just too much. And I was like, okay.
And I try to remember too, I am 44 years old and I struggle with my hormones. For sure.
What?
No, for sure. What do you mean? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because the struggle I am in is about weight. You don't have that struggle.
No, I mean moodiness. Like
you do?
Yeah. I definitely. Do you not?
No, I don't have moody.
Have you never?
No.
Oh, I do. I mean, I definitely have moodiness, and then I think about what it's like for my 9-year-old to
Yeah.
be, getting all of those hormones in her body, and
It's intense when it starts happening that young.
Yeah.
I know Georgia didn't have any kind of shifts until she was fully into middle school. But Isla did. Isla she'd kill me. Isla started getting armpit hair in 4th grade.
yeah.
And that's when she started.
so young.
Is so young. She didn't really start getting boobs, but she started getting armpit hair and hair. She just started getting hair. And that's when she started wearing really oversized clothes. As I thought she
Covering her body.
is hiding. Yeah. Now she's hiding. She has such a cute little figure and she still hides. She's in great shape. She's thin. She's not overweight anywhere. Not that that would really matter, but there's nothing to be self-conscious about other than the hormonal shifts that's happened in her body. So she still wears Bert's extra large sweatshirt to school every day. It hits her knee. And she tells me the reason she does this is because she can get fully undressed inside the sweatshirt in PE so that no one can see her body. I haven't personally seen her shoulders in 5 years.
Oh,
She will not show them.
God.
She won't even
Man,
try a
it's
bathing
brutal.
suit on for
It
me.
is brutal out there. I don't like getting changed in locker rooms. I don't like getting changed in locker rooms still. And my poor kid has to go in there. And I was making her. She had swimming right after school, so I was like, go. She would have basketball practice, and then I would take her to swimming. So I was like, put your swimming suit on under your basketball practice, your basketball uniform, so I can take you straight to swimming. She was like, Mom, I'm the only kid in there getting naked. Please stop making me do this.
Oh.
I know.
Oh.
I know.
They're so funny. Mm-hmm. So, your house is done?
It's done. Well, we got signed off, but I mean, is the
Little
house
bit of
ever
this.
done?
No, it takes a while, right? It took me like 2.5 years until I was like, okay, I think I'm kind of done. I think I'm good.
You guys are done with construction.
Yes. Well, we're on the inside of the house. Now we got like our back fence is kind of fallen in. Our side fence is completely rotted. So we've got to do like that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But no, the house is done. But it did take a little while. Are you happy with it?
I am. I have felt a little bit like I was done. I was like, now what am I going to do? Because it was a solid year and a half. He would fly down every week, and every spare moment we spent working on it.
Right.
And it took a long time. But I mean, now it was kind of, but I was so done towards the end. I was like, I don't want to live with my father-in-law anymore. And I don't want to have to be dirty and do this every single day and not see my friends and not have any. So I felt like I had no social life, because even when we were working, I would get home and I'd make him dinner.
Right.
Talk about what we're going to do the next day. We'd go over plans.
Right.
We'd watch one of his movies together.
One of whose movies? Oh, the one that he chose.
Yes.
I
Because he would always ask. And I'd say, well, let's watch this. He's like, nah, what about this one? I was like, all right, Joe, whatever you
We're
want to
watching
watch.
that one. So how
All right,
long was the
Pops.
project? How long was it?
It took a year and a half.
A year and a half. And what did you do? Like, was it a complete remodel? Was it just kitchen and bathrooms? What was it?
We had to take down all the walls, because when to bring it up to code, they have to look behind. They have to look at every electrical outlet. We had to level the floor, because garage floors slope like this.
But this is just the back house.
Yes.
You didn't do the front house.
No, the front house is done.
Oh, okay. So the house you were living in was okay.
Yes, thank
Okay.
God,
You
'cause-
weren't living in construction.
No,
like,
which
per
I've heard
se.
horror stories about that.
Yeah, I lived in construction. Our front porch was my kitchen. When we did our house, our living room was mine and Bert's bedroom. And so we just had the front bedroom, which is now Isla's room, the original bathroom, and the living room. That's all we had.
you had.
Yes. So my kitchen, my refrigerator was in my living room, and my kitchen was on my front porch. So I had a Coleman stove and like an electric griddle and a microwave inside. And I cooked. It was only 5.5 months, but I cooked everything.
You cooked on the porch.
I cooked on the porch.
Did you have it closed in?
No.
You just cooked on the porch?
Well, we had a temporary fence around
your
our front
neighbors
yard.
must have stories about you guys.
Right. We hosted dinner parties. I'd like move my outdoor furniture to the front yard, and I was like, "Come over for dinner. I'm cooking this on the griddle and the Coleman stove." My theory on remodeling, because my dad bought a very old log cabin when I was probably 8 or 9, and it needed a lot of work. So my weekends with my dad was remodeling this cabin. He bought it with 2 friends. So the 3 men and myself and one of the guys had a son my age. We all worked on this cabin. So I'd remodeled stuff since I was really little. And then my dad and I built a house from the ground up when I was 13. We did a lot of it by ourselves. We contracted out like the roof and, stuff that I couldn't really do. But I did a lot of work on that house. So, and my dad's dad, my grandfather, was a carpenter by trade, and his brother built houses for a living. So we had a lot of support. But so my theory with this remodel was to prepare everything as much as I could ahead of time, and to have the right mentality to make every single thing, even a problem, glass half full.
That's good.
Because at the end of the
Good,
day,
yeah.
I'm getting a brand new house, essentially. So, okay, so the bathtub doesn't come in on time. But at the end of the day, I'm getting a bad new house. Okay, so my kids are fighting because they're shoved in one room together. But at the end of the day, I'm getting a brand new
Right.
house. So I feel like anything like that, if you have your head in the right space, anything is possible. So cooking on my front porch for 5.5 months, 3 meals a day, I just made it fucking happen. I just made it happen.
Is it a fun memory now?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Bert talks about it because he was like, we were all shoved in this one place. We have this big California king bed that was essentially our couch because, you know, if we all wanted to watch TV together, we all sat in this, 4 of us piled up in our bed and watched TV. And yeah, it is a really fond memory of eating in the front yard every single day. We ate in the front yard. Yeah, it was really fun.
Is yours a fond memory, Amanda?
It is. I mean, I look back at certain points and I was like, that was really physically hard and exhausting. And it was hard. There were certain times when it was hard. It's hard sharing your house with somebody too.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Our main house is only 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom.
Right.
So it's small.
Yeah.
So we basically all live together. But my husband was never very close with his dad. And they are so close now.
That's amazing.
Which is so, and I'm really close with him. Like, I love how much he helped us and how well we all got to know each other, and we would like solve problems together. We were like, all right, guys, because you never know. You tear down a wall, you're like, we weren't planning on that.
Right.
We didn't know this was gonna, you know, it throws you little curveballs along the way.
Yep. And you have to figure it out. You have to be fast on your feet.
Yep.
That is an amazing bonding experience, isn't it?
Big time.
Yeah, it is. I have so many great memories of my childhood doing that with my dad.
Oh, I bet.
And with my dad had one roommate that was very single and was not home a lot. And then the other roommate that had the son my age, they got us on the same weekend. So they had custody every other weekend. So I had like this brother at my dad's house for several years. And we all did this all together. And his name's Brandon. Brandon called me like 2 weeks ago. And it was so funny. I didn't know, I don't have his phone number programmed in my phone. He said, hey. And I went, this is Brandon. I knew him right away.
Wow.
Hey, what are you doing? He said, you know who this is? And I didn't want to say because I was like, if this is not Brandon, that's going to be awkward. And he says, Brandon. I was like, I knew who it was. I knew the whole time, but we're so bonded because we did all that together. We dug ditches, we split firewood, we built kitchen cabinets, we had spitball fights in between, we built a tree house together. It's a really cool way to bond.
Oh, yeah.
Especially problem solving. If you can problem solve with somebody, I think you end up having a really good relationship.
And figuring out how, like, we didn't know how to, he's not a contractor.
Right.
He's an engineer. So we literally YouTubed everything. Like, how are we going to do this? Like, let's watch a video.
Amanda, that's really impressive.
It is.
It's kind of scary. Like,
really
we did some stuff. When we connected the gas line, I was like, you guys, we could literally blow ourselves up. And my father-in-law was like, yes, we could. That's why we're going to be super careful.
Let's hold hands while
I'm
we
like,
turn this on.
This is insane that we're doing this. Because
crazy.
along the way, we had said, all right, we will hire somebody to do that. We will hire somebody to do that. And then towards the end, he was like, no, let's just do everything. I was like, connect the sewer line.
Right.
We did it.
That's
Wow.
amazing. You should be really proud of yourself. Why don't you go get your contractor's license?
know.
I've
You
thought
should.
about it, but I think people would laugh. I think if I showed up somewhere and they'd be like, "You're a general contractor," I'd be
That's
like,
not
"No,
even
it's
the point. First of all, nobody would laugh.
No.
It would make you stand out. Also, just get it to have it. Just get it to have it.
You should get it because you have somebody. Berts told me when ours was done, he was like, I don't understand why you don't get your contractor's license because
it's a test, right?
well, yeah, you have to study for the test. I'm sure stuff that you probably didn't learn.
No.
And I know there's stuff I don't know. I mean, I helped project manage really high-end remodels for 2 years, years ago, and then did this and then how all that, little bits of experience growing up, but I don't know. There was stuff he was telling me about the contractor. I was like, I have no answer for that question. I have no knowledge or experience of that at all.
All the laws, all the weird little
the code.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know any of that shit.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll go with you.
Let's do it.
Want to go do
You
it
just
together?
can learn it relatively. I mean, I don't want to say easily.
A lot of
That's
it's
probably
online.
pretty offensive to contractors to say you could learn it easily, but you at least have a base of knowledge that you
Exactly.
could start from.
Absolutely.
Somewhere to start from. That's really impressive, Amanda, that you did all that by yourself.
You guys could start a company together, the two of you.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I was really good at it. I'm really good. Here's what I'm good at. I came in 2% over budget.
That's really good.
Wow.
2% over budget. I've always been really good with money, but I ran a ton of numbers before I started buying stuff, and then said, okay, what is my deal breaker must have? Like the flooring in my bathroom, I wanted that flooring.
Yeah.
And it was expensive. And that was my deal breaker. So how can I balance the budget in this room so that the whole room is not a deal breaker?
Right.
So I put subway tiles in, and I found a place, a great place to buy not top of the line fixtures, because that doesn't matter to me. And if we're in a house forever, I don't need a $500 fucking shower head.
Yeah.
We did the same thing. We're like, we're going to spend money on this. Let's be a little bit cheaper on this and a little more economical.
Exactly.
And then our biggest thing is we saved all our money from labor. Like the cost of actually hiring someone to tile an entire floor is huge, and we did it all ourselves. We poured our own concrete countertops.
Did you really? That's so impressive.
It turned out when we first took off the molds, we're like, this sucks. And that's the first time I cried. But we repaired them and they look great now.
Really? Why did it suck? Were there cracks?
Yeah, they're all along. It was all jagged along the front because you don't know when you do these molds and then you take it off. And I cried. I was like, we're gonna have to take them all down. But my husband's like, no, I think we can patch this. So you literally mix the cement, take your hands, and go like this. We did it 4 times. Wow. You let it dry, sand it down, see what it looks like, do it again.
Wow. That's some perseverance, man. That's amazing. Maybe this is what you're supposed to do. Did you design? Was there any design element? Like, I didn't. I don't know what this label is called, but I like picked out all the tiles and fixtures, and I chose the cabinet. I did all that. So I don't know if that's called a designer.
That's interior design.
But I don't buy pillows. I'm not good at that shit. Like this fabric goes with that. I'm not great at that. But I am really good at this flooring looks good with this cabinet, which looks good with this counter, which looks good with this fixture, and
you
this
guys
is how it all
do
goes
this?
together. No, we did not do this room.
You didn't.
Man Caves, the TV show, did this room. They spent $120,000 on this room.
I love the
It's a great
walls
room.
and the
And it was a
ceiling.
gift.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, crazy. And those doors are why we put the doors in. We have mahogany doors here. And I was like, I'm putting mahogany doors in there. And that was another deal breaker. I was
Yeah.
like, the two thing, I want this floor and I want those doors. And the rest of it I can kind of work around.
Right.
Because the doors for our house were really expensive and they're high maintenance. I have to have them clear, re-polyurethaned every year. But I wanted them to match these doors because these doors are beautiful. So I was like, well, I'm willing to do
And they're
that.
Huge.
Like every spring, I just have a painter guy come and re-clear all my mahogany doors. Cost me a couple $100, but that's what I wanted. So that was the thing about remodeling. People ask me all the time about remodeling stuff, and I think the 2 main things is to have your mind in the right place before you start, to be prepared for problems, because problems are inherent in that experience. It's never effortless or smooth. So if you think, okay, you don't go, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, I hope it's flat.
Right.
It's that stupid.
Yeah.
It's not going to be flat. So if you go, I can't wait to climb Mount Everest, I can't wait to see what those hills look like and how I overcome them, then you can deal with it better, I think, emotionally. And then you're not as stressed, and then you don't throw money at things to get rid of it because you are in the mindset
You
that
already
this
knew it
is
was
going
coming,
to be
yeah.
a problem. And then planning, I'm such a planner. I planned all my money so much. I told my guy how much this was going to be. I was like, this is going to be $250,000 remodel.
You have always
That's
been
2%
really
of it.
good at that.
Yeah.
I have been really good at
Project
that.
management.
Yeah.
I should have been a movie producer. We can spend $2 million.
Well, and you're great with money, and
I have always been really good with money, not on wood. So I don't know. How was your budget? How did that work for you? Did you have a budget when you started, or did you just?
We did a budget. He basically said it's going to cost this much.
Who said that?
My father-in-law, he
Okay.
drew everything out, and he was like, I think we can spend this much on a shower, spend this much on tile for this, spend this much on, and we did really, really, really well.
Good.
We spent probably about $35,000.
That's
and the whole
awesome.
thing should have been about $150,000.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but like I said,
It was labor.
labor, yeah.
A lot of that labor you're talking about, sewer line, that's plumbing. That's such primo labor too. That's so
yeah.
expensive.
You
I mean,
trenched up our
carpentry is not.
backyard.
Carpentry is not that much, but plumbing and electric,
oh yeah, he rewired everything.
that's insane.
And then everything else we just and it's kind of, I mean, we took a year and a half, which is a really long time. Nobody wants to take that long, but we knew that we're not living in the space.
Right.
It doesn't have to be done right now.
Right.
We're just
It's the
gonna take
same.
our time with it.
It's the right mindset.
Yeah, just pay for stuff as it comes up.
Yeah, and the right plan. Right. Is Joe still writing?
Yes.
That's awesome.
He's doing it today.
Awesome.
Maybe he left for a meeting. I don't know. He was there when I was gone. When I was leaving.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. What else should we talk about? How's dating life?
It's
Jocelyn?
good.
Is it?
She has a
good,
boyfriend.
You have a boyfriend.
Yeah, he lives with me.
He does?
He does, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And his dogs and his cat.
Oh, yeah.
We should talk about those.
Yeah. Okay. What dogs? What cat? Why, you're not
I
happy
love
with
living
him?
with my boyfriend. I actually do. He moved in and I said to him a few weeks later or months later or whatever, I said, I kind of didn't notice that he moved in. And that sounds maybe not kind, but there wasn't like anything where I was like, oh God, there's this other person here and I hate having him here. It was just really easy.
That's good.
But his pets are a goddamn nightmare.
Why?
Okay. He has this one dog that is a rescue. It's part pit and it is aggressive toward other animals. And so that is a liability that I'm not cut out for because I'm really absent-minded, careless. So that was really stressful. And this dog is 13 and she shits in her sleep.
Oh my God. She shits in her sleep?
She shits in her sleep and this is the easiest animal
What?
that he comes with. This dog is my favorite of the 3 that he showed up with.
She shits in her sleep and that's the easiest. Oh my God.
And one day I opened the door. He was outside and I opened the door to ask him something. And a woman walking her dogs was walking by and this dog charged out. And thank God the dog is so old that she fell on her way because she otherwise would have torn this dog apart. The sleep shitting dog. And I mean, this is just not something that I am cut out for. There's no other way to describe it. I'm going to leave doors open. I'm just going to do this. So thank God the dog is aging now because if she had moved in with me 5 years ago, terrible things would have happened. Okay.
Because there's an end in sight, is what you're saying.
Well,
she's
and
so
she just
old,
falls. She
inevitably.
falls, so she can't.
So okay, yeah. So she delays the
anybody or
problem.
any animal. We can get to her before she.
God.
Okay. Then the cat is, I don't know, 40 fucking pounds. The cat is huge and
oh my God.
attacks people. Cat also attacks
Okay,
people.
so he adopts aggressive animals.
The cat he adopts strays. The cat thinks that he's still a kitten, but he's 40 pounds. So there have been times when I'm just covered in.
Oh my God.
And I don't think my 7-year-old has ever touched this cat because we're all terrified of the cat. You walk by the cat and the cat, just latches onto your legs.
Yeah.
I'll be sleeping and I move my foot and the cat attacks.
Oh my God. He must still be young, the cat.
The cat is like 8 or 9.
Okay, he's halfway done.
Yeah. And now there are coyotes in our neighborhood, so we have to bring the cat in at night. And there's this part of me that's like, just leave it out. It's fine.
He'll be fine.
You can fend off the coyotes. And then the other dog, Jesus Christ. The dog has severe separation anxiety. And I don't know if either of you have dealt with a dog with severe separation anxiety.
Yes.
It is,
horrible.
My children are easier than this dog.
Yeah.
The dog shits in her crate.
Yeah.
While I was home the other day, my back door was open to the backyard and the dog panicked. I don't know why, and dug her way out of the backyard.
What kind of dog is this?
A Beagle
size?
Terrier mix, something that's like a bad mix. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are impossible to train.
Yeah.
They're so willful.
So, I feel sorry for she's on 2 kinds of medication. It's not enough. She's severely medicated and she just shakes all day long. It's so sad.
Have you tried CBD for her?
Yeah. And he's done, prior to me knowing him, he did all sorts of training and the dog is just not going to get better. This is what's
That's
going
too
on with the
bad.
dog. And it's really sad. It is really, really sad, but, that has been like, he moved in, he doesn't have kids and he moved into a house with 2 kids. And I think that adjustment was probably easier for him than his animals.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your kids don't shit in their sleep.
No, they
Or
don't.
attack
They
him when
don't.
he walks through the house.
God.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
I know.
You must like him
I
a
know.
lot.
I do. He's great.
What's his
He's
name?
Great. Daryl.
Daryl. I've seen pictures of him
Yeah.
and your
he's
stuff.
great.
That's great. I'm so glad.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like love. Love is fun.
I know. It's really fun to, it's fun to be this age and to fall in love with somebody.
Yeah, because you know yourself so well, right?
Yep.
And you've been to the rodeo, so
Yep.
you sniff out that bullshit really fast.
And it's just all on the table. It's all on the table from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because why wouldn't it be?
Right.
You know, there's no need to put on any pretense. Or I would imagine, I mean, what am I saying? I've been with Bert for freaking 17 years. But before that, even when I first started dating Bert started doing stupid boy stuff. Like, he wouldn't call me girlfriend. And I'm like, I'm 30 fucking 1.
Yeah.
I'm your girlfriend. You call me every day at 9:30 a.m. to ask me what I'm doing that night. I'm your girlfriend.
Right.
So can you just stop acting like a stupid ass? And he did, but it took him a little time because he wouldn't claim parts of our relationship that's mature and adult. He didn't want to grow up.
Right.
So it wasn't about me, and I was wise enough to know that. I was wise enough to know that he was trying to hold on to some bachelor whatever, that he was done. He was freaking done. The first time he took me on a date, I heard from him every single day from 9:30 in the morning. And you're telling me I'm not your girlfriend? Then you may be stupid.
Right.
Because that's what you do. You're not spending any time with anybody else, and you make sure my night is planned with you.
And I don't think that even at the age of 31, I'm not sure that I would have had the confidence to call somebody out on that. You know, I think I probably would have just sat around and waited. Not sat around and waited, but I just would have let it play out, you know. And now I'm like, let's just say what it is.
Just say what it is. Yeah, it's so much easier. It takes out so much problems to just be, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, no.
And I have to say, you guys should not get divorced. Your husbands are awesome, and I love your husbands. But when I have girlfriends who are telling me that they're getting divorced, and they're getting divorced from, you know, shitty guys, I'm like, this is going to be so great. It's going to be so great.
Right.
Because it really is fun.
around.
I bet it is, because you do know each other. You and Joe have been together for a long time, right?
This July will be our 10-year wedding anniversary.
Oh my God.
So I think we were together three or 4 years before that. Yeah. So we've been together forever.
Yeah, long time. Well, you were together when I met you. So at least
But not married yet.
not married. No.
No, she what? 13? How old is Georgia?
She's 14. She'll be 15.
You guys were just getting.
Maybe
you
we
would
were
come
just
to
starting to
tennis
date.
lessons, and that's what we were talking about when we were supposed to be playing tennis. Was you and
Maybe I
Joe?
was just beginning to date him.
Maybe. I only remember Joe. I don't remember you without Joe. I don't remember you as single. So
You were probably just starting to date.
Yeah, we're probably just beginning
Just
to
starting.
date. But not living together.
right.
I can't even remember back then.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
You feel?
That's
Do you
so
feel like
weird.
you've been with him forever?
Forever.
Yeah.
In a good way, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, me too. I know sometimes I think about like boyfriends I had a long time ago, and I'll think about, like, I had dated this guy in college that was a drag racer. And so we would go, like, a professional drag racer. So I would go drag race with him. And every once in a while I'd go, oh yeah, I did have that life. I had that life. I saw like Kenny Bernstein break 300 miles an hour for the first time ever, world record. I was there. I was like at the fence and saw it. And I think about things like that going, yeah, I did have a lot of experiences, but I feel like I've been with Bert forever.
And do you even feel like that person anymore? Does that feel like you when you
No.
know? Yeah.
No, there's so much that's different about me than who I was in my 20s. My early 20s, I was a complete and total disaster.
I know you've said that before, and it's still to this day shocks me.
I was really a disaster in a lot of ways. And then I think that honesty at 31, like, not you saying you're not sure you could call him out on that. I think it was because I had been such a disaster that I was like, I have to be actually just really straight with myself. So if you're not calling me your girlfriend, then, and I'm allowing that, then I'm not being straight with myself. It's almost like being sober.
Yeah,
You know what I
can
mean?
See that?
I had to be so in with myself that I couldn't allow that shit to go on. Now I feel like I can allow more stuff to go on because it doesn't really affect me. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not acting right, in the past I would have been like, Jocelyn,
Isn't that interesting?
you're not
Yeah.
acting right. Whereas now I go, no skin off my fucking teeth.
Yeah.
If you come to me and ask me, I'll tell you. But I don't need to be the right fighter that lets you know what's up because I'm your friend. I'd rather just be your friend and have you come and then be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not one to mince words if someone ever does that, but I don't have the need to insert myself,
It's embarrassing to look back and think of the times that I did that. I probably did it to you a lot. Sorry about that. Hopefully I don't do it anymore.
Don't remember?
Because I probably just didn't care. I was like, okay.
Okay, that's her take on it. Moving on.
You've always kind of been that way.
I'm like, you do you, I'll do me.
Amanda's an easy friend.
Yeah, Amanda's an easy person.
Really
You're
easy,
both
yeah.
really lovely people. You're one.
Thank you.
I was saying to Kathy
you.
today, there are people. Every time I hang out with you, I go, "Why don't we see each other more
know.
often?"
Well, we're going to start a business.
And then I know,
and
right?
we're all going to start taking tennis lessons again.
Hey,
I
what
wonder if
worked
I
for
still
me?
have my racket.
guys-
I think it's like under my bed.
I still have my
racket's
racket, but
rod.
I'm probably not going to take tennis lessons. But could we take boxing lessons?
I don't know if I can do that. I had a lower back injury
Okay.
that I can't do that kind of stuff anymore. It really screws me up. Although
up
I
with
think that would be
something else.
really fun.
Well, I'll come up with something else we can do together.
I've been hiking and I've been aqua jogging a lot because I'm
nice.
apparently 60, trapped in a 48-year-old body. But I actually enjoy aqua jogging, but I feel really lame, like running. Just running, like to go for a run, really hurts my lower back.
Yeah.
So I can't, I picked up I was on a ladder, twisted, and I took on like a 70-pound crate. And I popped something in my lower back, and now it's
and
just
not right.
I can keep it manageable with chiropractic. There's no need for surgery, but if I run for like 20 minutes, I'm done the next
Oh,
day.
that's too
So I
bad.
can't do it. So
That's too bad.
I would love to do boxing, but
But you
I can
can't.
watch
Maybe I'll think of something else we could do.
something else.
Yeah. I saw you walking one day. You were on, I don't know, somewhere. And I saw you.
Laurel
I think you
Canyon?
and Kathy walking, maybe on
Oh,
crossing
maybe
over
so.
the 170. Yeah.
Kathy moved to Van Nuys, but before
a
she
while
moved,
ago, yeah.
she and I walked
Yeah.
all the time, and we walked hard and fast. We'd walk like
Yeah, you were at it. Yep.
4 miles in an hour.
Nice.
So it was a nice, good walk.
That's
But
about my running pace.
that's all I can do, though. I can't do anything more than that, and
Yeah.
then my back just goes.
But hiking, you can do.
Hiking, I can hike.
Fryman.
Yep, I do Fryman a couple days a week.
I would love to get back into that.
Okay,
I
I've been
haven't
going
for
with a
while.
friend.
Okay.
Come with us. She's
Do you
really
bring
great.
the pups?
My dog has a bad knee,
Okay.
and Mona would die. Mona is a meatloaf with legs. That dog's so out of shape.
Mona's the little one.
Yeah, she has
Meatloaf
separation
with legs.
anxiety.
Oh, does she?
She did.
Oh, she did. Did you guys treat it with CBD?
Nope, we treated it with a bull mastiff.
Oh.
We took her to a trainer, and the trainer said she's a pack dog. She needs another dog. And I was like, well, she has a cat, and I'm her pack. And then he went, nope. The only thing that's going to fix this dog is another dog.
Oh, well, that's good
And
that worked.
It worked.
I think part of the problem with this other dog is that she's always been bad, but when she moved in with us, there are 4 of us now for her to keep track of, and the kids spend part of their time with their dad. And
Right.
I have a busy schedule, and Daryl has a busy schedule, so there's almost always someone, at least one person, gone
Right.
for the dog to panic about.
It's confusing.
She freaks out, and then she wants to go find us, and she'll do anything she can. It's so sad. It's so
Aw,
sad. I
bless
know.
her heart.
I know.
So is Mike close to you? Does he live
He's
close
right over
by?
here. He's like 10 minutes away. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
you guys share. How does that work?
We do. It's easy. I mean, that's one of the reasons that divorce is so great, is because he's so easy.
Yeah.
And the other day he said that he feels like we have a better relationship than we ever have, which is fantastic.
Do you feel that way too?
I mean, other than the beginning of our relationship in some ways, yeah. Like there's just not any stress there. The most that I have to complain about Mike with is that he can't keep track of my kids' uniforms. And that's it. It drives me crazy because I'm always like, where is this piece of equipment? And he has no idea where it is. But that is the most
Right.
that I am ever upset with him about. And that's not worth being upset about.
Yeah.
It's like really irritating
Yeah.
to constantly be looking for things. But if that's the only complaint I have about my ex, my life is great. And he and Daryl love each other.
That's
They
great.
love each other. Yeah.
That's really good. Is he dating, Mike?
He is. He's been dating somebody for 4 years now. And they started dating a few months after we broke up. And she's lovely too.
Oh,
She's
that's
lovely.
great.
Yeah.
Always love that.
Yeah, when everyone
were-
gets along.
Yeah. And we went to her house for Thanksgiving. I mean, it really, right now, could not be any better.
It's so good for the kids too.
I know.
to have, because my experience was not like that. My parents divorced when I was 7, and my mom pretty much, she was the reason the marriage fell apart. She cheated and she lied and she did really bad stuff. But definitely, my dad was the bad guy. And that's all she sold
yeah.
to me. He is blah, blah, blah. My dad never said one negative thing about my mother ever. He let me figure it out on my own. But it's so hard to be in this contentious atmosphere where one person is so stinky and the other person is affected by the stinky, but won't like he wouldn't stand up for himself. He wouldn't be confrontational. He wouldn't stand up for me. He just wanted it not to be happening.
Right.
He was like, close my eyes. This is not happening, when that's not necessarily healthy either, but it probably was better than them fighting all the time. But it is hard because as a kid, you start feeling a lot of responsibility to, be in alignment with one camp or the other. And if you're in alignment with mom, then you've betrayed dad. And if you're in alignment with dad, then you've betrayed mom. And it's a no-win situation. So it sounds like you guys are doing a really good job.
I don't think we have. I mean, I don't think my kids feel that way. There have been just a handful of times where they've appeared to have some issues adjusting, like right after we split up and we were leaving it kind of up to them, like, well, whose house do you want to spend the night at? That was a disaster because they couldn't choose. And so it would be hours of sobbing. Yeah. And we were like, oh no, that was not the right move. But now they're older and there are times when, they'll just say, we miss daddy. Can we go to his house? And I call him and he's like, yeah, great. And it's so easy. I have a built-in babysitter with him. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really, he's a remarkable person. So,
well, if you ever need a babysitter, my 14-year-old is Girl Scout certified and CPR certified.
Oh, fantastic.
And Girl Scout and babysitting.
I would trust her too.
She's great.
I mean, my 9-year-old doesn't really. She needs like another person there to make sure she doesn't burn down the house.
Or no weird person knocks on the door.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that kind of stuff. She's awesome. She babysits around the neighborhood. So if you ever need a sitter.
Okay.
If she's not playing freaking softball.
Right.
In the summer, she'll be around.
Oh, good. Okay.
If you ever need anything. Even if you need something for a couple hours in the day. She'll be driving soon, too. She's going to be.
Does she puppy sit?
Does she puppy sit? She probably would. She's great with dogs. Isla is, too. Yeah, they're great.
Amanda stole my babysitter. And my babysitter now puppy sits for Amanda because Amanda pays better.
I didn't know what the going rate was. I paid her $25 an hour.
Oh my God.
I know.
To puppy sit?
Well, first it was just one puppy and it was $20 an hour because I was like, I don't know what would make her want to come to my house. I was like, $20? She's like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I got a second dog and I was like, I have to up it. I can't just leave it at 20.
God.
So I pay her $25 an hour.
Wait, why do you need a sitter?
Because they're both really tiny and they can't be left alone for more than 4 hours. We tried to go off of that. Maximus is he just turned 5 months and he's kept in the kitchen behind a baby gate.
Because he's a baby.
Yeah,
he's a baby.
Okay.
I didn't know.
But even we had one for Pork Chop just because we can't leave her. Like if we're gone for 8 hours, I'm like, that's too long for her to be alone. So she goes to my house. She has a key. She brings her dog. They play together. She takes him outside.
Right.
I mean, for $25 an hour, I feel like I would go over there and just take my laptop and hang out, do some work.
Yeah, totally.
And make an extra $25 an hour off of that.
Yeah.
It's a great deal, Amanda.
It is a great deal. I have a great dog sitter too. Okay. Or she's a dog walker. And she'll come and hang out, but she doesn't stay at your house. Like if you go out of town for the weekend, she doesn't do that.
How much do you pay her?
I pay her $25 for a half-hour walk for 2 dogs.
Oh,
but she's walking them. She doesn't hang out at my house. She walks them for 30 minutes.
Mine just takes them out back, but she plays with them. She throws
How
the
long
ball.
Is she there?
Yeah.
2 hours on Tuesday nights and then 1 hour on Friday.
See, mine's $25 for 30 minutes. So you're getting a deal.
You are, yeah.
You're like double for your money.
Woo-hoo.
That's awesome. You just have the 2 dogs?
Just the 2.
Aww.
Well, I mean, that's enough. Maximus is a lot right now.
Because he's a puppy.
He's a puppy and he's special needs.
Yeah. Yeah, you were saying he had a concussion, right?
Yeah.
Poor little guy.
I know.
I don't know how people can be mean to animals.
I know.
They should be skinned alive.
I have the worst animals alive, and I'm really nice to them.
And they shot him with a paintball gun.
They shot him with a paintball gun?
When he was 4 weeks old.
Oh, my God. That's awful.
Oh, yeah.
And he's tiny.
And so he couldn't walk. The police removed him from the house, and he was falling over.
Oh, little guy.
He can walk now, but he's going to have probably problems for the rest of his life.
So he's brain damaged.
Yeah.
Poor little guy.
I know. He's so sweet.
Oh. Well, we should go have lunch.
We should.
We go have lunch.
Yeah. Where are we going to go?
Do we have more to talk about?
I do. I have so much to talk to you about. We need
You
to talk about it
do?
over lunch. I mean,
Off the
there's so many
record.
things.
I
No,
know.
it doesn't need to be off the record.
No, I know.
We covered gun control in this. And then there was a moment there I was like, oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit.
Maybe we should talk about that.
No. Well, thanks for coming and chatting.
Thank you,
It's
Leanne.
always nice to hang out.
I know.
So not so long next time. My fault too. I mean, we're just all, I feel like this is what I was saying to Kathy. I was like, I always so happy to see them. I feel like we've not missed a beat. Like nothing's really, and there's so much catching up. And then we don't see each other for like 3 years. And then it comes back and it's my fault. I said, I feel like we're in 3 different like arenas.
We are. And I mean, it's nobody's fault. That's where I was saying, like, you guys are easy friends. There are some friends who get pissed off about things like that.
I would never.
It's not anybody's fault. That's just what our lives are.
It's the way our lives are. I was like, Jocelyn's running in this circle, Amanda's running in this circle, and I'm running in this circle. And our circles don't ever interconnect. So unless we make them interconnect. Right. And then to make them interconnect, it has to be like there's no softball, there's no play practice, there's no swim, there's no karate, there's no construction, there's no traveling, there's no whatever. And it just never happens.
Yeah.
So let's make a better effort.
I know.
There's something else I was wanting to talk about with you guys too. I just remembered, and then we'll wrap it up. I have a lot of people email me and ask how you make friends. How do you make friends?
Oh, that's a good question.
Especially at our age. And to be honest with you,
that's a good question.
This is one of the ways you make friends and keep friends is that you take a tennis class. Mm-hmm. I was by myself. I didn't know anybody. And you guys were warm and welcoming enough to let me in your group. And that's one of the ways you make friends. Part of it was who you are, and part of it was who I am. To be like, hey, I want to be friends. Not that I said that exactly, but like, hey, I want to hang out. Let's go hang out. And not being attached to whether you say yes or no. Yeah. To be strong enough, for me to be strong enough as a person to say, if they just want their group, that's okay. But at least I tried.
Right.
And it's not a reflection on me. It's just that there's no room over there. It's like you're in a lifeboat. There's no seats left. Okay, then I'll look for another lifeboat. It's okay. Or, yes, climb in this lifeboat. We're going to row together. However it works, to be willing to put yourself out. Mm-hmm. And like you said, we're low maintenance people. I'm very low maintenance. I'm never offended if I don't hear from anybody for years on end. And to know that some friendships are that way. Not all friendships are besties, Yeah. Not everybody. I mean, I have one friend that calls me every morning at 8:30. She calls me every morning at 8:30. And that's awesome. That's cool with that. And I call her from time to time too. But I'm not like that with all my friends. That's the nature of that relationship. What do you think about making friends as an older person?
I think you can I have a friend that Light and I became friends because I worked at a job with her, and she was the only person there that I wanted to be friends with. And I said, hey, you're the only person here that I want to be friends with. Let's be friends. And she was like, great. What do we do? And I was like, well, let's go to lunch together. And I mean, this was, I don't know, 15 years ago. This was forever ago, 20 years ago, maybe. And I was in her wedding a couple of years ago. She's still a good friend. Right. But I also think that a lot of times, like I try to teach my daughter this, that sometimes she feels lonely and like she's not included in anything. And I'm like, well, sometimes you have to be the one who is initiating it. And you have to make sure that you're making friends with the right people so that that it's authentic. Because like I can text you 1,000 times and say, Leanne, let's get together with lunch. And if every single one of those times you're busy, I'm never going to feel like, oh, Leanne's blowing me off. I'm going to genuinely feel like Leanne's busy and I'm going to reach out again.
Yeah, same. Yeah. That's a very good point because, I recently had someone say to me, I'm something like, I'm waiting for this part of you to change and it's not going to change. So I'm going to move on. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't even know I was doing anything that was upsetting anybody. I'm just being myself. So then if being myself is not what you need, then you may be right. Because I can't be anybody other than myself. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to do that. So I can be thoughtful. Sure, I can. And there are times I'm sure where I'm not the most thoughtful person because I'm busy or distracted, but not from malice, not from negativity or meanness, but just because I'm busy or I'm occupied with my kids or I've got something else focused, not to be mean. And I thought, well, that's wise of you to say, hey, I'm waiting for you to be a different person. And you're not going to be a different person, so I'm going to move on. Then I go, well, that is kind of how it works, like what you're saying with Junie. Is sometimes not everybody's meant to be in the same relationship that everybody else is. It just doesn't work like that. If that were true, I would have 15 very best friends that I talk to every morning at 8:30.
I mean, if you feel bad around somebody,
you shouldn't be there.
That's the end. That's the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the older I get, the less tolerance I have for, it used to be that I would put up with a lot more percentage of the relationship felt bad. And now I'm like, oh, I've got maybe like 1%.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Same here. I mean, nobody's perfect.
Right.
There's going to be a time where you go, oh, that was kind of shitty. And then if that doesn't really happen again for a while, it was just a one-off.
Yeah.
But I agree. I would never have wanted this person who said that to me to feel that way about me. But at the same time, I didn't do anything wrong.
Right. And I hate the guilt thing. Luckily, the older I get, the less and less I have that. But I've had friends be like, you're not there enough for me. You are not. And I'm like, I can't. Unless you're my husband, you really can't demand any of my time. I don't think. Like I give
agree.
as much as I can give. But if that's not enough for you, then maybe we shouldn't be as good of friends.
Because
I'm not fulfilling some role that you want me to.
Because I can say the same about the both of you. You are, what you see is what you get. There's no pretense. There's nothing hidden. It's very authentic. So if the other person is not taken care of with that amount of authenticity that's happening, then something's not jiving. And that's unfortunate because and that's unfortunate when someone feels that way. I would never want anybody to feel that way.
And I don't mean, and I love you as a friend, but I'm not going to be available at all times.
Right.
I have other things going on in my life, and
this is how I work.
Right.
So
this is me.
This is me, exactly. This is me. Take me or leave me. But this is me.
Take it or leave it.
But I think people do get caught up in, I think they think about it too much. And maybe I wonder if it's because they have something inside that's not complete, or if they're not taking care of themselves, because I take really good care of myself.
Yeah.
And
social media doesn't help.
Social media
They
doesn't
literally
help.
will see, they're like, well, you're hanging out with this person.
Yes.
I'm like, come on.
Yes. And I can't get into that either.
can't,
Because I go, what, I can't hang out with? I have to consider
know.
you for everything? I mean, just anybody who might think that, I can't really function that way.
No.
I can be in this moment, be present, and be available for the moment that's happening. And
I also, I now look at my friends and I realize, and especially, just in my older years, that I intentionally am friends with people who bring out the best in me. And so and I think that I used to be friends with people just because they would go out drinking with me.
Right.
And it was like, oh, they're really fun and they're funny.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh, I'm like, Amanda is my friend because lots of reasons. You're my friend for a lot of reasons. But one of them is that she represents family for me.
Right.
Which, like, my family's kind of shitty. And so my mom will probably listen to this. My mom is amazing.
And so is your dad.
Love you, new.
Any extended family we can't speak of, but.
So, and all of my friends, to some extent or another, I'm like, oh, this friend does this with me.
Right.
And so, and it's really, like, I don't have to love the whole entire person.
No, yeah.
And I don't even have to care.
Right.
I don't even have to care that there are some shortcomings there. It's
Exactly
none
right.
of my business. It's none of my business whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly right.
I shouldn't even call it a shortcoming.
No, just a difference.
Yeah.
Or a difference or something that doesn't line up with who you are, or that's okay. I could pick a flaw in any person, and say I can't hang out with you because of this flaw. But that's what love is you accept the whole.
Yeah.
Warts and all.
Yeah.
Because I have warts. So
I'm not perfect.
I am not.
You're
I am far from
perfect.
perfect. I'm very stubborn. I have a hard time apologizing sometimes if I don't feel like I'm wrong.
I've never gotten mad at you.
Well, that's good. Maybe we haven't hung out enough. I don't really make people mad much except Bert, which is part of being married.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't make him mad often. He got mad at me the other night, and the whole time I was going, this is the most ridiculous. You are mad at me for the stupidest thing. This doesn't even make sense. And I just apologized anyway. He keeps saying to me over the course of our 17 years together, sometimes I just need you to apologize and not even mean it. I just need you to apologize. So I thought, well, this is one of those where what he's saying is so fucking ridiculous. I'm not owning any of it. So I just stood there and went, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I am sorry. I am so sorry. And then I went to bed. And the next morning he woke up and he was like, I'm sorry, I was being a dick. And I was like, oh my God, maybe it actually works. If I just say I'm sorry and have no idea what I'm sorry about, he will figure out that he's the asshole and I didn't do anything. So that may be my new tactic.
That's fantastic. Also, like the opposite would be true. If somebody's apologizing to me and I can tell they are just apologizing to shut me up, it would make me so much madder.
Me too.
Right? I would be
you don't
like,
mean it.
Oh, I hate that because it's not genuine. And I say, this is the argument
it's so
we've had.
condescending. Yeah.
I hate it. I said, so you're asking me to lie to you because I'm not sorry, because I don't understand what I'm supposed to be sorry about. So you're actually encouraging me to be dishonest so that you can feel better for something I have no responsibility for because I don't even understand what I'm apologizing
Right.
for.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah. And I'm like, that's not in my wheelhouse. I can't, that does not compute. I do not understand. I can't function that way. I don't understand how that works. Like, you have to know what you're saying you're sorry for, don't you? Mm-hmm. Or it's meaningless. You may as well say pomegranate.
Words.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but it worked. So I guess maybe to each his
It's
own.
just what you do.
Sometimes I have to, I guess, assess and go, okay, it's more important that I apologize without understanding in this moment. And then in this moment, when it means something to me, I have to stand my ground. Maybe that's what I have to do. Because the shit he was mad about, he was mad because he said, damn it, I didn't want to drink wine tonight. And I went, okay, what's wrong? What do you mean what's wrong? You know it's National Beer Day and I want to drink beer. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. And he was like, but why would you say that? It's so shitty. And I was like, I said it shitty? I didn't know I said it shitty. I'm sorry. I really literally was like, I don't know why he's complaining about drinking wine. I really was like, I've been saying all day it's National Beer Day. Does that mean you're not listening to me all day? I'm like, oh my God. Maybe you should drink the whole bottle of wine.
Oh, that is fantastic.
I'm going to bed. But in that moment, I went, okay, this is not about me at all. I don't even
Yeah.
know what this is about. So I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I am really sorry.
My ex gave me great advice about, because I am hopefully getting better at this, but I can get very triggered when somebody is mad at me. And then there's just two people mad at each other, right?
Right.
Mike is unflappable. Like, I could say the worst things in the world to him and it just didn't raise his blood pressure at all. And he finally told me one day that when I was upset with him, he just heard white noise. He said, what you're saying is just white noise to me.
That would not make me happy
And
at
so,
all.
well, no, that didn't make me happy. No, I didn't like that at all. But now I use it. So like with my kids, right? Because your kids can really push your buttons and
Yeah.
you're like, when they're screaming about something that is so irrational that I'm like, I can't even follow this shit. I'm like, oh, it's just white noise. Okay. And then I stay calm.
And then you stay calm.
I
and then
totally
you-
stay calm because I don't, like, none of it sinks in. I don't take
Right.
any of it personally. I'm like,
Right.
you're just making white noise right now.
Yeah, I have to do that sometimes with Bert too. You know, I am super logical. He is super emotional. Like, everything is reactive and emotional. And I always go, I am the benefit of the doubt queen.
Yeah.
I am the first one to go, well, he didn't really mean it like
Yep.
that. And he is the first one to go, what a fucking bitch. Instead of, well, Leanne would
Yeah.
never do that to hurt me. You know, she just was saying, why don't you want wine? Because she doesn't understand, instead of being offended that I didn't understand that it was National Beer Day and going to the moon. You know, he doesn't have that peace. So sometimes I have to do that too.
Yeah.
I have to let him just be super emotional so that he can calm down, so that he can hear my logic. And sometimes he doesn't want my logic. He feels my logic is discounting his emotion instead of trying to help him manage his emotion.
Yeah.
He feels like I'm going, you're wrong because you have this emotion, instead of saying, well, my intention was just to say, I don't understand why it's a problem that you have wine. My intention was curiosity, not to offend you. But he's like, well, my being offended is all you should deal with. You know, it's a hard thing sometimes. Being married is hard
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh yeah, I find myself, if Joe, he's got a temper on him. Like, I think Joe is
I
pretty.
could not imagine.
I know.
It comes out on occasion, and it's not pretty. But when he does it, I go the opposite. I don't react. I go, oh, I gotta bring it down a few notches, just if we're gonna survive. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to. And he kind of does the same thing. Like, if I fly off, then he gets super rational.
right. But that's pretty balanced.
Yes. Oh,
You
relationships.
guys are good at that.
Yeah.
You guys, like,
I feel like we have
yeah.
to, or else we'd both be way up here, and we can't both do that.
Right.
It doesn't happen very often.
Right.
For the
No.
most part, he's very level-headed.
Yeah. Same with us, but Bert's really lucky. I think growing up on a farm helped me be married to Bert. To go, well, we just got to take him out back and shoot him. That's all we're going to do. You know, for him, that's a disaster. They go, no, that's just kind of what has to happen. So I think he's lucky in that. I think if he had a girly girl, he'd be in real trouble. You know, a girl that was emotional and reactive like he is, they'd be a disaster. So that's why I jokingly always say I'm the guy.
That's probably why I'm like, I find you guys so easy, because I think I'm probably the girly girl. I mean, I am, you know this, I am maybe not in like that sense, but I get triggered pretty easily.
Do you?
I do.
I wouldn't see that. I don't know you that
I mean,
way.
I don't know that I get triggered easily. I let things go for a long time and then I'm like, I'm done. So I think
see.
it appears that I get triggered easily.
I see.
I work on that. Like I'm much better than I used to be, but
Maturity.
yeah.
With age comes wisdom. Right. All right, let's go have some lunch. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.